Fallout is a 2022 drama film that didn't hit my local HBO Max server, Latin America, until around early January 2023. It stars Jenna Ortega as a survivor of a school shooting, trying to deal with the grief and depression she feels in the aftermath of such a traumatic situation. Upon release, the movie was critically acclaimed and, according to the data tracking platform TV Time, was the most watched streaming original film in its first week of release in the United States. Which sucks, because then that would mean that I'm in the minority that thinks the Fallout is boring. Not regularly boring, but uniquely and realistically boring. Before I explain why though, since I don't think that the movie's all bad, it's only fair that I also mention what I think is good about it. Number 1. The runtime. The best thing that the Fallout has going for it in my opinion is its very thoughtful duration of just an hour and 32 minutes. Even though the movie deals with very emotional subject matter, the writers don't do much with it, so keeping the whole thing short was a good idea in the long run. Number 2. Some of the acting. Despite being limited by the very basic script that they're given, I have to applaud some of the actors for doing a pretty good job of working past that and squeezing all that they could out of their characters. Jenna Ortega and Maddie Ziegler are very convincing as two survivors clinging to each other. It's great to see Shailene Woodley in anything these days, and I think that Lumi Pollack, who plays Jenna's little sister, especially deserves a lot of praise for her work in this film, because in my opinion, she definitely had the best scene in the whole movie. If you've seen it, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. Number 3. The ending. Although I look at The Fallout as a very average movie, one thing that was surprisingly great about it in my opinion was the ending. I don't want to spoil it for anyone who's still interested in watching the movie for themselves, so feel free to skip ahead if that's you. In the ending, Jenna Ortega's character finally makes some progress and is able to start moving forward with her life. Just when it looks like things are about to end on a positive note, while waiting for Mia, Maddie Ziegler's character, outside of her dance class, Jenna receives a notification on her phone telling her that there's been yet another school shooting in the country, which causes her to go into a panic attack. While this ending may be very sad, I think it also drives home just how unfortunately frequent these events have become, which is what makes it such a great ending. That's unfortunately where my positives for The Fallout end, so here's why I think that it's a uniquely and realistically boring film. If the filmmaker's goal for the movie was to tell a modern, non-melodramatic story about an unfortunately relevant topic, then I'd have to say that they succeeded, but in the worst way possible. Because in the place of overly exaggerated emotional scenes, we're left with a very simplistic and cliché teen drama. The only reason why I consider The Fallout to be realistic is because it's all show and no tell. We see Jenna Ortega's character do every cliché thing that we expect a modern movie teen to do in the aftermath of a shooting. She lays around all day, either on her phone or watching TV, and she experiments with drugs, alcohol, and sex. Basically doing everything that she can to not deal with her trauma head on, even though that's what she has to do in order to heal and move on with her life. All of this is understandable, expected, and proven to make for good teen drama. But for some reason, the filmmakers decided to not go deep into any of that. It's kinda hard to explain without showing you the actual scenes, but the way how the story of The Fallout is told feels very surface level and soulless. Scenes play out less like teen drama and more like just a checklist of what's typically in a teen drama. The whole time I was watching it, it felt like I was being held at arm's length instead of pulled in to really grasp the emotional weight of what these characters were going through. If I could put some of the blame on anything practical, then it would have to be the writing. When it's not serviceable at best, then it's just straight up corny. That scene where Veda and her father yell together while they're on the mountain is one of the most cringeworthy scenes I've ever watched in my entire life. So in conclusion, The Fallout is realistic in the same way that a movie about watching a guy recover from a serious injury is realistic, if that movie decided to not contain anyone or try to do anything that was interesting in the slightest. So it's realistic, but unfortunately also very boring.